Let me thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity in my new role to come and say a few words. The most important thing about this today is that the legitimacy of the post-2015 agenda has to be seen in finishing the last mile. I've spent the best part of the last 10 years of my life addressing EFA, the education goals, and more specifically the MDGs at local level. And I can tell you that there have been many challenges, but also successes. And we have an opportunity to go that last mile, save a lot more lives, get a lot more girls into school, and give people access to drinking water, safe drinking water at that. Today's discussion will look around to see what is it that we really want to discuss about the post-2015 agenda. And I can see you talk about a new social contract. And that new social contract really needs to be discussed in an environment that differs from the north to the south, from the east to the west. The new challenges of a new dawn, and with a huge cohort of youth that are going to be doing the heavy lifting of the post-2015 agenda. If we look back across our shoulders, it's not long ago that we started with the MDGs, and there was a lot of enthusiasm. This was the millennium. Things were going to happen. We were going to change the world, and it's not been a bad journey. Full of frustrations. There are shortcomings on the MDGs. We didn't think that they were ambitious enough. We thought they minimized many of our agendas, but it did bring us together. It was the fulcrum in which development began to be spoken about. It was investments moving to putting people at the center. It did, however, miss the agenda on the environment. And I think now we have a huge opportunity. Finish the last mile, get many of those goals and those targets adhered to, pull through what we haven't, and be more ambitious in the next set. The successor framework is extraordinarily important to us today. It also gives us an opportunity we've not had, which is a process to define that. To define that, and what does civil society have to do with that? A big role. You said a new social contract, and we need to mean that in every way. We need to take the lessons of what has been learned in terms of partnerships, service delivery, engaging with advocacy on the ground, and saying, how do we inform this process that is said to be inclusive from the get-go, bringing our lessons, bringing our science, bringing best practice, good practice, bringing the challenges, the shortcomings, the practical things that we couldn't do, that we tried to do, to voices of the poor onto the agenda in a real way that we will recognize the agenda when we come to 2015, and not that we will look at it, take it back, and discuss it for 5 years before trying to implement it. The opportunities that we put in place from the UN system are numerous. I mean, the first, of course, is the UN Development Group, who have put together the UN country consultations in more than 50 countries. This process alone you need to engage with to ensure that you have the right tools that can be adapted at the local level, so that what we go out there in terms of trying to hear the voices and articulate them really are those voices that we get on health, on education, on the environment, making that balance between people and planet really matter. And this is not going to be easy. The time is short, but the opportunity is great. There are also thematic consultations, and we mustn't forget about those, because those really contain many of the issues that worry us today as we try to put people and keep them at the center of the development agenda. And they will be different, from India to Nigeria to the UK to Turkey. They will all be different, and we need to make sure that those voices are heard, not just heard but articulated in a really genuine way, one that is credible. How representative are we going to be when we go through this whole process? It's not so much that I look around me today. Fortunately, I'm at home for a couple of days and rushing back to New York to try to do what is a huge mandate, lots of expectations, one that I'm very excited about, but humbled by, because again, as I say, this is going to be about teamwork. It's going to be about bringing everybody on board. But I look to my left, and this is a model primary school. And while I can congratulate my country for putting more classrooms down, building more primary schools, I have to say that the remaining challenge is about the quality of education. And how many children are passing through an education and learning and being taught? How are we empowering teachers so that they can give that skill set to our children, whose foundation is critical? But I also look to my right, and you'll see just over there, those are cattle. It's a tribe that I come from. And while I look at that, it's not so much what the cattle signify, but it is very much about the nomadic folk. those children that don't have a chance to go to a classroom that you see on our left, but in fact are spending the day tending their cattle, and how do we make that real for them in real terms. The opportunity for us to make this a success comes once in a lifetime. We keep saying this is a new dawn, a new social contract, but we have 3 years to finish the job we started. We have 3 years in which to engage with what kind of a future we want, what kind of a future we deserve, and what kind of a future many need and don't even have the luxury to think about those wants. And this is what I would like to challenge us all to. We're always talking about the call to action, and right now the action should have started yesterday. Where it hasn't, I hope it will start today. But let's make sure that we make it meaningful, that we go beyond the rhetoric, we go beyond the advocacy, that we put tangible things down in front of those that will negotiate this to make our world a better place. And it is incumbent upon us that have been there before to try to hand over that baton in a manner in which you can hit the ground running in 2015. I really am sorry that I haven't been able to make this meeting, and I hope that it will provide me many more opportunities, first of all, to hear the feedback from this conference, but also to engage with you through the next 12 to 9 months and in the couple of years thereafter in making our world one that we want. Thank you.